in the world does a bulimic, alcoholic woman end up publishing a book about style and manners?
You guys, I'm here with Laura Martella.
Author Laura Martella is here.
Meet Gentleman Norman and Laura Martella.
And become a leading clean food expert, teaching people to change their lives through the food they eat. My answer?
Still. You see me fly, you know they'll never catch me for it. See me fly, the way I put my finger on it. See me fly, you got it.
It's the power of God's grace.
The wrong guy.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me here, spending your valuable time. This is where we talk all things health, hope, and gratitude. I have a great guest for you today, and we've already had an hour-long amazing conversation while we were setting up. But he is loved and known by everyone in our community. And further, I want to welcome Dave Snyder.
Oh, thank you very much. You're very gracious.
Thank you so much for joining me. So, Dave is a well-known chef. He owns 3 restaurants. He does a number of things. And I will read your bio. I'm going to read your bio to them in a minute, but I just kind of want to get some fun stuff and just some thanks to you out. When I moved here in 2018, I could not find a place to eat. I mean, it's so much easier eating clean in Southern California. And I met Dave Snyder, and you have just become a friend. You put up with me and all my allergies. You've taught me so much about food. Definitely cooking. I mean, the way I eat, it's kind of simple, the cooking, but actually about food.
All right, then.
Food. So welcome and thank you. And everyone loves
Thank you. Oh, I don't know about that, but.
So tell me about how did you know growing up? Tell me where you grew up, and did you always have a love for food? Tell us a little bit about your mom.
Oh, she was an amazing woman, Miss her very much. Born and raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Mother Colombian, born and raised in Bogota. Moved to this country when she was about 25 years old. Met my father on a somewhat of a blind date, crazy story. And then my sister and I, my sister Becky, we grew up in Grand Rapids. And I started dabbling in the kitchen when I was about 10. And the day after I turned 16 and got my driver's license, I got a job at a local restaurant as a dishwasher. And I have been full-time in the restaurant business ever since. So I'm
what kinds of dabbling did you do in the kitchen?
I was always helping my mom in the kitchen, and I always looked forward to my parents' Christmas party. It was like out of a movie set. I mean, it was just one of those long, drawn-out nights of everybody having fun. And by 10:30, there was enough bourbon and champagne drank that someone's on the piano. Mr. Zerenner. He's playing the piano, and everyone's singing along, singing carols. And it was the month before that my mom was preparing food for that big party. And I was always in the kitchen with her, just always doing it. And then my morning paper out one morning, I came home, and it was a cold morning in Michigan. The newspaper had to be up by 7 in the morning. And typically I would come home to my mom's version of an Egg McMuffin, warm in the oven. So I'd be in the mudroom taking off my clothes, and I would smell that. And I came home one morning, and I didn't smell it. I was starving. So I made an absolute mess in the kitchen at like the age of 11 trying to recreate it. And that was really the first time that my mom said I just did it on my own. So kind of neat.
And so was it like English muffins? By the way, I grew up on McDonald's.
Yeah, I don't know. It was an English muffin and a fried egg and a piece of bacon and some good old American cheese, Kraft American cheese.
Yes.
And that's the first time I really just got into it. And then I didn't know I wanted to cook for a living till I was 21, and I was on my own. And I was skipping college that I was paying for to go work at a restaurant.
Because you loved it?
Yeah, I would rather cook than go to class that I was paying for on my own.
Wow.
And that's when the light bulb went off, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're paying for all this schooling, and you're choosing to go work at Bennigan's instead tonight. instead of going to class.
Oh my God, Bennigan's.
Oh yeah, the
I
Monte
remember
Cristo.
Bennigan's.
Yeah, it was great. And the Santa Fe chicken salad, sure.
And where was that?
Athens. Go Dogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went to University of Georgia
Until they
before
politely asked me to not reattend the next
Oh
semester.
my God. Well, I think this might be a good little time to read your bio.
Okay. All right.
And impressive. So, following graduation from the New England Culinary Institute in Vermont, Chef Dave Snyder moved to New York City, gaining experience and sharpening his skills at the Essex House, Zoe, Union Square Cafe, and The Mark, serving under top chefs. Heading south, yay, south, Dave became executive chef at Azalea in Atlanta before moving to St. Simon's Island as chef at J. Max. I remember J. Max.
Yeah, J. Mac Mason. Great guy.
Yes. In 2000, you opened Halyards on St. Simon's and then followed the first venture by opening Tremici in 2006. And most recently, which is not really recent now, but
Yeah, it's been a little
we've
while.
been updating his bio. You introduced the island to your Latin street fair at La Plancha to celebrate your Colombian heritage. Okay, today, along with Halyards Catering and Hook and Knife Charters, Dave's 3 restaurants comprise Halyard Restaurant Group. Okay, quick question.
Answer.
Where did the name Halyards come from?
My former business partner, Brian Sibley, and I were trying to come up with a name in the sailing world because we wanted to attract people from different demographics, and everybody sails, right? Demographically. And we were just sitting around talking about sailing terms and going through sailing jargon, and Brian said halyards, and it just had a ring to it. And of course, halyard is the line that lowers and raises sails on a boat, and that's the line. It's the halyard that rings in the wind, if you will, and bumps against the mast and makes that sound.
Nice.
That's a halyard. So that's where halyards came from.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So these restaurants perennially ranked as the island's and region's most popular, 100%.
I don't know about that.
Oh, yes. Enable Dave to share his love of hospitality 100%. You're as much hospitality as food, and how the two intertwine to create memorable culinary experiences. His monthly cooking classes. Are you still doing that?
Yeah, we need that. We're not doing those right now.
Okay. I love that you did that. Okay, this is really cool. Drawing on his relationships with local fishermen and farmers, Dave demonstrates to eager guests that the best ingredients make a tremendous difference in food quality, in the sustainability of the environment, and in the financial strength of the local economy. Let's have a conversation about that, but let me say what you're doing.
Okay.
He serves on the advisory panel for snapper grouper species for the South Atlantic Fishery Management Council and has worked with the South Atlantic Fishermen's Association to improve the sustainability and health of the South Atlantic, the availability of local fish, and the financial future and heritage of the fishing industry.
Yeah, there's a
Speak
2-week-long
on that.
podcast there. Yeah, we don't have much time.
Well, tell us a little bit so that, I think I know, but I don't.
Well, I mean, the short version is that in the last 50 years, technology has gotten so great with safer boats, better motors, better boats, GPS to get us to find fish, then sonar so we can literally find the fish and look at water temperatures, all that science you put together, and we're able to better find fish and harvest fish. And at the same time, in the last 50 years, demand for fish has gone through the roof, and we're depleting the ocean. That's the really short of it.
I have a question.
Okay.
What do you mean when you say harvest fish?
Kill fish. Harvest fish. to
okay.
eat. Harvest.
All right.
So we're taking all this fish out, and we're doing it too rapidly. So I think it's important that we find balance.
Yes.
Because, we want those fish for our livelihoods at our restaurants for people like me. We want those for people to have access to that resource because that's a resource for every American. And so we need to save those fish. Well, then maybe we need to fish less. Well, then you have the economic impact of telling families that, hey, you fish for a living, you're tied into the fishing industry, and we're not going to let you catch fish. That has an economic impact on people. That's real impact. So trying to find that balance is incredibly difficult. And I think I need to be a part of that. I think everyone needs to be a part of that and should be a part of trying to find that balance of saving fish and saving economic lives and the heritage of fishing communities. Plain and simple. There's nothing easy about it.
So what are you all working towards?
Oh, there are so many different things. I mean, the South Atlantic Fishery Management Council is one of many councils in the country that is responsible for their region. That council is responsible for Key West all the way up to the Virginia border, North Carolina border. And they have to manage those fish and fisheries within 200 miles of the coast. That's a daunting job.
I can't even imagine. Most of us don't even think, or at least me, I don't think through,
Yeah.
all of this.
And there are a couple hundred people working every day to collect the data. You've got a council and a council staff of another 100 trying to follow the law and the Magnuson-Stevens Act of 79 to regulate those fish and do what's right. And it's a very, very daunting, difficult, very imperfect task.
Yes, it is. And how much of your time do you spend on that?
I'm no longer on that panel. I rolled off after 9 years. You can only serve 9 years, then you have to sit off. I spend most of my time now with MREP, the Marine Resource Educational Program, that is put on by the Gulf of Maine Research Institute, where we have a motto that it's education for fishermen by fishermen. And I'm on the steering committee where we do. Every year we have about 35 participants out of a pool of 200 that apply. And over the course of 5 days, we spend 2.5 days teaching the candidate, or not the candidates, but the people that are at the class. We teach them, here's how the science is collected. They meet scientists. They meet the staff down in Florida that collects the data. So there's 2.5 days of here's how the science works. And then the next 2.5 days, we teach everyone in the class, here's how the management works. Here's what the law is. And here's why the decisions are made by the managers on these councils, because that's the law. So for me, it's important, I think, to teach people so that the right information is out on the dock, the right information is being presented in social media. And when everybody knows exactly what the law is and how the science is collected, then I think we can make better decisions and get better buy-in from everybody.
Right.
The hard part is that, again, we have over 200 people a year apply. We only have the budget for 35 seats.
Wow.
So we're only teaching 35 people at a time. So for me, I'm very passionate about that. It makes an incredible difference. It's really great when we have one person in the class come in that doesn't have a total buy-in on day one, and they're very skeptical of the process. They're skeptical of the law. They're skeptical of the scientists. And then a light bulb goes off on like day 3 or 4, and they're like, okay, I get it. This makes sense. And that hopefully is the person that he or she will go back to their world and connect with people and say, no, this is the correct information. I took a class for 5 days.
Right.
So I'm very passionate. That's how I participate. And I don't spend a ton of time. It's, maybe a meeting a month. And then it's a steering committee for 2.5 days once a year. And it's really connecting, whether it's on your podcast, thank you, as a way to tell people, hey, here's how you can get involved. And here's how you can learn.
God, this is such an important cause.
It is, plain and simply,
none of
because
us know.
it's a limited resource.
Yeah.
And we have depleted the oceans. Have you ever eaten Patagonian toothfish?
No. Not that I know of.
Well, you have.
Oh, I have?
Oh, absolutely. I bet my bottom dollar on it.
You would know.
So in the 70s, the Patagonian toothfish was not being sold very well. Just didn't have a market. It was delicious fish, white, flaky, nice big fillets. So they changed the name to the Chilean sea bass.
Oh, yes, of course I have.
We wiped it off the planet. Marketing.
Oh.
Same with redfish. Not everybody ate
Yes.
redfish until the 80s, and Paul Prudhomme came up with blackened redfish. We wiped out redfish.
So marketing.
It's certainly a part of it.
Marketing.
And by the same token, I think we need to market the fact that it's important to keep these fish
Yes.
in our world for our grandkids and for the livelihoods of people that, in our future generations are going to depend on that.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I love this. Thank you so much for taking the time to explain it to me. Something that I just recently discovered since I came back here in 2022 is triple tail.
Oh, it's delicious.
And I had never heard of triple tail. You know,
Sure.
I lived in California for a long time, and I love dining at restaurants where like yours, where the servers are informed. And they explained to me that triple tail is a local. It's only in the northern. Tell us about triple tail. It is my new favorite.
Okay, triple tail is a warm water fish. It is only in our waters March, mid-March, late March until about October. They only follow the bait that is in the warm water. So they migrate up here when it's warm and they go back to Florida.
Oh,
So
so
they're
are
not-
they in Florida a different
Year-round.
time of year? Oh,
Year-round.
Year-round.
Because the water's warm enough.
Okay.
No, it's a delicious fish. But again, because of demand, when I first moved here 20 years ago, I could buy whole triple tail for $1 a pound. It was a byproduct. The shrimpers would catch it, and it's a byproduct in their nets. And it was just a bycatch. They didn't want anything to do. It was a trash fish. It's $1
Are you
a pound.
serious?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, locals knew that it was delicious. And the locals actually called it eddy fish because a lot of them live in eddies. So when you talk to a real local that's been in the fishing world, some people call it an eddy fish. But now that fish is $7, $8 a pound whole fish because of demand. Because there isn't enough grouper year round. There isn't enough snapper year round. Well, what else is there to offer? Well, now we offer triple tail. Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you for that. All right, let's get back to your impressive resume here. So you serve and you have served on a number of boards.
Absolutely. It's all about community.
Tell me a little bit about some of them that you've served on. And
I've been on the Boys and Girls Club of Southeast Georgia, I think the longest. Really great cause. Again, it's about community and what can I do with my team and a platform of seeing, hopefully, in a good day, we might see 500 people in our restaurants, 600 people in our restaurants. And that's a platform to share, views about our community. How can we make our community better? So I think for me, the Boys and Girls Club, I've been with the longest. I think it's important to take care of the next generation, especially the next generation of some kids that don't have all the access to things that can help improve their lives, which I think is a great thing. Hospice of the Golden Isles, I was on that board for a while, another great cause. Humane Society, with Norman running, there's Norman over there sleeping.
Norman!
I've got my 2 dogs. That's another great cause.
I know.
That I've helped out with the past. I never served with them, but Coastal Symphony of Georgia, I sat on that board for a while. Another great cause to keep arts in our community.
Absolutely.
Which is a fun thing. No, it's all about community. It's about teaching my staff and showing our staff that, hey, you need to be part of the community because you want the community to just get better. And the better the community is, everybody's happier. When everybody's happier, life is better. And frankly, the financial side that I tell our staff is, if our guests are in a better mood and a happier community, we're all going to do better financially.
That's right.
From a business standpoint, frankly. And it's also a great way to meet people. And you meet people from different walks of life. You didn't know what a triple tail was until you met someone in the fishing industry.
Exactly.
So when you get into different industries, you meet great people that come from different worlds, and that just keeps life interesting.
It does. It really does. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll talk about food.
All right.
All right. Years into my sobriety, I thought I was living a very healthy lifestyle, exercising and eating right, yet I was suffering from debilitating migraines and severe bloating. Thank God that I went to a functional medicine doctor who treats the whole body. It turns out I'm highly allergic to preservatives and other additives. I'm going to help you with the information overload today with what to eat, what not to eat. I can help you decipher food labels, all these marketing buzzwords that get you to buy the product. There are no quick fixes, no teas, powders, or shakes. It's hard work, but it's doable. What I am offering to you is a way to eat real food, whole food. This is not meal plans. This is not a restrictive calorie counting diet. I want you to eat. I want you to eat the right things. This is about non-toxic, elevated eating. Food is medicine. Okay, Chef David, let's talk about food.
All
and
right.
that is like such a broad topic.
Sure.
One of the biggest conceptions people have is that healthy food is expensive.
Sure.
Why?
Well, the question shouldn't be why is good food or healthy food expensive? The question should be why is bad food cheap or inexpensive? And my answer is, well, bad or cheap food isn't real food at all.
Correct.
I mean, that is it to me. I mean, there are certain products that, yes, I grew up eating, and I'll still munch on a tortilla chip out of a bag once in a while. But knowing that it's processed like that is it's just different than a stalk of asparagus or a tomato or a piece of fish that has to go through transportation, has a perishable shelf life. That's real food.
It is real food. And this is what I teach my clients. When you put things in your body that's not real food,
Yep.
your body doesn't know what to do with it. It can cause inflammation, but also you're never satisfied. You're hungry all the time because food nourishes your body
Yep.
and satiates you. But all this junk food and fast food, your body doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
We're hungry, brain fog, anxiety,
Oh, it affects everything.
inflammation.
It's a big one. That's an absolute big one.
That is
Absolutely.
the main thing. And the way that I teach people to eat and the way that I eat. And I thank you so much for accommodating me and my clients. It's so simple.
Yeah,
The
it
way
can be.
I eat is actually not complicated, which
No,
is
it's very simple. And sometimes, though, in order to make things taste different all the time, and for a lot of people to taste delicious, it does take time.
yes.
It is simple, but it takes time. If you go to roast a vegetable, and if you don't take the time to get the oven hot enough, you don't take the time to get your pan hot enough, and you roast that vegetable, and the pan's too cold, the oven's too cold, it's not going to have that great caramelization on the outside, right? You put that asparagus into a hot pan, or you put that red onion or a mushroom into a hot pan, you sear it, you get those natural sugars to caramelize on the outside, you stick in that super hot oven, you get a little bit of that char flavor going on. Those are the flavors that make it taste great. If you put it in a cold pan, you're almost steaming it. You don't get those layers of flavors. And it takes time. It takes a hot oven. It takes a hot pan. So
What do you recommend roasting vegetables at? What
a
temperature?
super hot pan where your oil about burns, you get it right to the smoking point. So your pan's probably 600 degrees. And at home, my oven is 500 degrees.
Really?
Absolutely.
How long do you roast them?
Depends on the size of the cut in the vegetable. Sorry.
Oh, come on, teach me.
It all
Just give me a
depends.
simple.
I mean-
He's like a lawyer.
Well,
no
I mean-
straight answer. No, I'm just teasing.
No, it's just different. Tomato has more water than a carrot.
yeah.
If you cut the carrot into 2-inch cubes, it takes longer to roast than a 1-inch cube because it's thicker. So there's no one answer.
Yeah, that's true. I love just your passion for it.
Oh, well, yeah. I get that from mom. Well, and dad, frankly, too.
Yeah.
But it takes time. And so when someone says, it's just quicker for me to go out and grab some fast food, I get that because we're so busy in our lives.
Yes.
If you can find the time or have the discipline to make time to buy the right food, to get the kitchen set up correctly, to get the right tools, it takes time, energy, effort, and money. I get that. Some of those pans are one-time expenses. Learning the process hopefully is just a one-time thing.
Right.
Maybe practicing that process to get it right takes a little bit longer. But, you know, it's like my buddy John. He enjoys spending the day learning all day, reading over a recipe, methodically learning what to do and practicing it and getting it right. You know, so, you know, like today, it's a rainy Saturday. That's a perfect day. You can't go outside and do what you like to do outside. You can't fish, can't golf or whatever. Cook all day.
I know. It's so
Teach yourself these recipes with healthy food. You might burn something 1 or 2 times, and that gets expensive. You know, I mean, there are times that the recipe at the restaurant doesn't work out, and you know that food doesn't go to a table, and I get that part. But I think in the long run, when you learn recipes, you're going to save money.
Yes.
I mean, I've been to some friends' homes where I see food just getting thrown away while they're prepping, and I'm like, no, there's 17 uses with that pepper end you just put in there.
Oh my God, I could hang out with you all day.
You know, why are you doing this with this scrap? You know, that scrap. There are ways to use those things. You know, you take a boneless, skinless chicken breast that a package might cost $8. You know, and you get 2 meals out of it. Well, I can buy an entire chicken for $11 and get 4 meals out of it and super stock.
Yes.
But it takes time. I get it. You know, it takes practice. I get it. Not everybody has that. But if you can find the time and find the discipline to do those things, you can really, in the long run, save money by utilizing all the ingredients better. And then just so many different recipes out of one thing.
You know, I never even cooked until I moved to St. Simon's in 2018.
Really?
I'm an only child, no kids, never had done the Thanksgiving turkey ever. And I had to learn how to cook when I moved here.
So that there were that many healthy options where you came from in Southern California?
Very easily. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I could cook a little. I could, you know, roast chicken breasts and vegetables, but I had never roasted a chicken.
Okay.
And my friend said to me, a friend of mine in California that loved cooking and would cook a lot, she said, because I even one time paid somebody, because I didn't know how to roast Brussels sprouts. And my girlfriend said, Laura, if you knew how simple it was, you would know how stupid you're being right now. And she said,
ouch.
I know. But she said, you know what the thing about cooking is? You have to want to. Isn't that the thing?
It's not any different than anything else. It's a learned habit, and it's practice.
It is.
Whether you want to hit a fade on a drive in golf or you want to hit topspin on a forehand in tennis, it's practice and discipline.
It is. And what I try to implore in my clients is, you know, you have limited time and limited energy. And if you start getting in the habit of cooking, just it's a form of self-care. It's a form of loving your family. Like, pour a glass of sparkling water or wine and put on some music and make it like it's an activity.
No, it is an activity.
It's an activity.
It is an activity. Not like, it is an activity.
It is an activity. And just kind of switch your mindset. And I know you know this, but I always say, when you're taking the time to cook, always make extra, because leftovers are your new fast food.
Absolutely.
Like if you're doing 4 breasts, do 8 breasts, and then boom, you've got
my
prepared.
freezer at home. My freezer at home has probably 21 quart glass jars of food ready to go. I've got red sauce. I've got meat sauce. I've got a Vietnamese lemongrass soup. I've got chili. I've got an Asian pork stew, because, well, frankly, it's because sometimes I don't know how to cook for only 2 or 4 people, right? You know, so if it's just me and Alexandra, it's hard, you know, for me to just cook for the 2 of us. But I'll make a big batch of things and put them in the freezer.
Love it.
So when you do have a rainy Saturday, make food for the whole week or for the month, put it in the freezer, and then that solves your time problem.
Yes.
Just take, again, it
And
just takes practice.
you have to, I have redefined food for me, because sometimes I just need, it's fuel. Number one, food is fuel. Sometimes it's pleasurable and delicious and beautiful. Sometimes I just need some protein in my body right now before I kill someone.
Absolutely. You get hangry.
Yeah.
No, and Alexandra said it to me a few months ago. She said, you've spoiled me with all this good food. And I'd like to think that for someone that looks at, excuse me, for someone that looks at food as simply fuel, when those people are introduced to something new and delicious and fun and interesting, a light bulb goes off that, hey, I want to try something else.
Right.
And then you try something else and try something else. And all of a sudden, there's a whole world out there past fuel.
Yes.
And then there's a newfound interest in it. And it's like, holy cow, what else is out there?
It's fascinating.
And when you want to eat clean and you want to eat healthy, a lot of people think, oh, steamed vegetables.
No.
I'm just saying what people think.
Yes.
And I've been told. But again, when you open yourself up to recipe books and cookbooks and the pros and cons of seeing things on the internet that you can learn for recipes, there's so much information out there that you can try and practice and do your own spin on it.
And just get comfortable in your kitchen and try new things. By the way, you'd be very proud of me. I just did a clean food sampling for a group of 15 ladies in a private home. And the big hit was quinoa, and to give it a lot of flavor, I sauteed mushrooms and onions, added to it, and then it tasted good, but it wasn't pretty. So I added kale, organic kale, and some chopped tomatoes, a squeeze of lemon. Anyway, everyone's been calling and asking for the recipe, but you just have to want to.
No, you do. And then sometimes when you practice more, you can use your imagination. I came home, I've been gone for a month, and I came home and Alexandra had some leftover sweet potatoes roasted off, still in the skin, some blanched, steamed cauliflower. And there was some roasted chicken. She had roasted a whole chicken. And I came home, and here are these leftovers. And I'm like, okay, I want to do something. I need something to eat for breakfast tomorrow. Because I'm trying to eat more vegetables for breakfast. Because I am nothing but yogurt and granola. And like this morning, I had cherries. So I'm fruit. Well, let's do something different. So, okay, only because I've had a lot of practice, I took the sweet potatoes. I took the cauliflower and chicken, pulled it out of the refrigerator. I sauteed some onions, some garlic, and some ginger. Right?
Nice.
Shaved the ginger on the hand grater in a little bit of coconut oil for the flavor of coconut and a tiny bit of sesame oil and some hot, spicy serrano chilies. So I sweated all that in the oil to flavor that oil. And then I threw in the chicken, threw in the vegetables and a little bit of green onion. And boom, here's this nice sweet potato stewish kind of thing.
Nice.
I don't know if you'd call it a stew or a porridge or just this mess, but it's the way to take leftovers and make something delicious out of it. And that's just because I want to try something different and experiment. And again, so if you can take that passion and practice with it, all of a sudden you're going to develop new things that are just fun and different. And it's all healthy.
That sounds so delicious. And I love sweet potatoes. There's so much. I think they're a miracle food. The nutrients, the fiber, just love sweet potatoes. Let's talk about, I know that you have actually worked with a lot of athletes who, I suppose they get instructions from their doctor to change?
No,
or
trainers.
From their trainers?
Yeah, a couple different sports. We've helped some guys out. Their trainers have said, not so much the younger guys. We've got a couple younger guys that we've fed in the past whose metabolisms are still just cranking and they want pizza and tacos, while they're working. But a couple guys on the tail end of their career, in the middle of their career, that are a little bit older, a couple popped to mind where their trainer has said, this is exactly what you're going to eat. And if you follow this regimen and you're strict about it, you're going to be a lot healthier and you're going to improve your play.
Right.
And, it's usually heavy protein and usually lean protein.
Lean protein.
Lean cuts of steak, chicken breast, not chicken legs, ton of fish, and then a ton of veg. Low dairy to no dairy.
I'm a no dairy.
Yeah, I gotta have some butter. I
prefer butter over. I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah, and you can always use ghee, right? You can always and don't buy ghee. Just clarify your own butter. It's so much simpler and you save a ton of money.
Good info.
Yeah, the butter people are going to hate me out there, but or the ghee people are going to hate me out
Yes.
there. Yeah. But no, these athletes, most of their carbs are coming from fruits.
What fruits?
Oh, it's all of it. It's bananas. It's citrus. One athlete in particular loves his mangoes. I mean, it's a mango a day.
Nice.
But it's the information's come from the trainers. The trainers are heavy protein, heavy veg, low to no dairy, low carbs. Carbs are coming from fruit. Carbs aren't coming from potatoes. They're not coming from rice. And it's all in an effort to make their bodies respond differently, especially as these couple guys that I can think of are aging on in their career. They're not 22 years old anymore. They can't just burn up pizza and tacos.
Right.
You know.
Now, let me ask you a question. Are they advised to take like protein powders, or do they want them to get their protein through food?
We have seen almost none of that.
That is so wise, in my opinion, because a lot of the protein powders that you buy have got ridiculous ingredients in it that cause inflammation. There's so many artificial things in these protein powders. And I'm just such a fan of fueling your body with food.
Sure.
And you were just talking about the mangoes and this. I say this. There are so many foods our bodies need on a daily basis that there's no need to getting healthy. Hunger is not a part of getting healthy, right? There's a lot of food that we need. Okay, so they're heavy on the lean animal protein.
A lot of fish.
Fruits,
Fruits,
little dairy.
very little dairy, very little complex carbs, I guess would be the rices and the potatoes. A little bit of quinoa. Yeah, it's just heavy veg, and it's a veg across the board.
Do they watch the seed oils? Do they recommend?
We have been almost all avocado oil and extra virgin olive oil.
And coconut oil. Those are my three go-to.
I love coconut oil. I love the flavor of it.
It's amazing.
But off the top of my head, I don't think either one of the 5 or 6 guys that we've helped out had coconut oil, come to think of it. Just avocado and extra virgin.
Yeah.
Of course, extra virgin these days has doubled in price over the last 2 years. It's crazy. But
It seems like the things that get popular, they go up in price. It's just...
Well, avocado or olive oil should go back down. It's a weather thing that's been going on with olives the last year, which is hurting the harvest. But yeah, and of course, we're also talking about people that have access,
right,
that have the income and the time to hire people like us to do it. And that's obviously everybody can't do that, but for those that can, it's a game changer. Okay, there's a good pun right there, right? It's a game changer.
It's a game
for these guys that
changer.
are playing games for a living.
Yes.
But no, for those in the world that can find the time, energy, and effort, and if they have the income to hire somebody, you know, and there are a lot of different chefs all over the country, and plenty here in town that would do those things for people. But it takes a commitment from people to do that.
It does.
It just does, and it takes discipline and time, and not everybody has the lifestyle or chooses the lifestyle to do that. And it's tough.
But it is possible to eat healthy and eat clean without needing a private chef. I don't want to discourage anyone. If I can do it, listen, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
I mean, if you just go roast some chicken breasts, boil some shrimp, heavy on cholesterol, but go and boil chicken breast, boil a shrimp or grill them, go get some vegetables and stick it in a steamer.
Yes.
That takes 2 seconds. It may not taste the best. You may not want that every single day, but it can be done quickly.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Accountability. What is accountability? We hear that over and over. There are self-help books. There are shows. There's online programs. But at the end of the day, have they worked for you? I'm Laura Martella, and I am an accountability coach and a recovery coach. I've been through a lot in my life, as we all have. My journey is I'm 20 years sober, I'm in recovery from bulimia, and I learned a lot in these past 20 years. I understand all too well that feeling of overwhelm and not being able to get any traction, not being able to have one healthy day. I firmly believe if I can change, you can change, and I'm here to help. You don't need an addiction or a compulsive behavior to require a lifestyle change. I want to help you break the chains that you're living in, whether it's eating too much, drinking too much, whatever it is that you are doing that is self-destructive. I can help you break free. We're not talking about a quick fix. What I want to offer you is sustainable change. Let me assure you, you are worth it. If you're ready to take the first step, I look forward to our discovery call and changing your life together. This has been so interesting. I always learn so much when I sit with you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We are going to have to do a part 2 because
there's more
we
to
have
talk about.
not gotten to like some of my favorite things about Dave Snyder. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And there's just so much more to learn from Chef Dave.
You know they'll never catch me for it. See me fly the way I put my finger on